Hello and welcome to the final proposition, topic number 9, mass tourism, the more the better. I've attached some pictures in the first slide of mass tourism taken in the past decade. Now that's extreme tourism on the beaches in some destinations where planning isn't evident. We'll explore planning later. I'm talking a little bit faster as I have so much to share, but I've tried to lessen the boring factor. We're lucky enough to have been given the opportunity to experience this discussion actually at our tourism destination of Cottesloe Beach Coastline. In case of bad weather though, and to support our discussion, I had recently paid a visit to Cottesloe Beach and have done research to support our group discussion further on. Okay, in slide number 2, let me introduce our first group members. Firstly, Connie, she's doing Bali in Indonesia, Martin, Majorca in Spain, and followed by Nathan, who's doing Hawaii in US, and I'm summing it all up. Our research comparisons will add substance to the overall topic question, the more the better. Each of us will allure you to our destinations of choice and then further brief you on the resulting complications that mass tourism brings. Throughout the presentation, we'll ask you questions and reward you for your input, and finally, we'll hand the topic question back over to you for group discussion. During my briefing, I will play devil's advocate where possible, as I want to explore the topic from all angles, other viewpoints that may or may not be felt by the group today. The issue of mass tourism planning and impact resolution are not ones with easy answers, and vary consistently with the different landscapes, geographies, and cultures of the various destinations we've chosen today. And on to slide number 3. Before we acquaint ourselves with the first destination, let's break down what is mass tourism. By now we understand what tourism actually is, hopefully. The who's, what, where, when, why, and how, and we all should know that mass means extreme. So where and when do we consider mass tourism? Okay, there's no universally common definition for mass tourism either in the UN World Tourism Organization or the World Travel and Tourism Council websites. So what one stakeholder might count as a non-profitable few may be considered to others as too many people to sustain the existing natural landscape, and as discussed in previous class talks, planning must consider all stakeholders, particularly the local residents. For a chocolate and for a prize, who can give us an example of what they consider as mass tourism, and tell us about the destination, why you consider this as an extreme example. And I will give hints to infrastructure and the events as big drivers for mass tourism, plenty of examples. Okay, on to slide number 4. Here we can see the beautiful beach coastline of Cottesloe. Now I'm not going to reinvent the wheel or regard general information, but I will make points about what is going on here at the moment in relation to tourism at Cottesloe. Is it mass yet, and will it be? On to slide number 5. Now we can SWOT the Cottesloe Beach coastline for natural tourism and sustainability versus the mass tourism, further development objectives, and this can lead to some proposed recommendations. So firstly with the SWOT, we'll go strengths. Cottesloe being the beautiful coastline, a nice uncluttered flow of local and regional visitors and accessibility for everyone, including myself, to enjoy the natural area. The strong voice of the local residents, council and other stakeholders have helped sustain its natural beauty to this point. The weaknesses, the Cottesloe is also considered as having much unused space for greater tourism activities. Opportunities can be considered existing for the further natural redevelopment of the coastal environment by local council and other like-minded stakeholders. And finally, the threats continue to loom with the bargaining power of mass tourism by profit-driven stakeholders and their plans to add mass infrastructure. It's always a threat. But you'll notice that the strengths and opportunities for natural sustainability are seen in the eyes of the local residents and like-minded stakeholders, whereas the weaknesses and threats are seen through the eyes of stakeholders who wish to maximise revenue through mass tourism development. That's what I've found with my research. And the key here is the power of strong communication in today's democratic society, and through social networking it can grow further to reach the desired stakeholders. I believe that strongly. So the recommendations I have put forward This may or may not be valid, but I mean, it's up for discussion, please. I've got the Town of Cottesloe Planning Department can work in a partnership with Curtin University Sustainable Tourism students and promote such strengths as the Foreshore Redevelopment Plan and local coastal laws through social networking avenues like Facebook surveys and Twitter to gain more support. And finally, we can put this to Curtin FM and they can air our support of the initiatives to the wider public and appeal to the state government for the funding necessary to help implement the council's foreshore redevelopment plan. So instead of, doing their own development plans going up and up and up and up, they can actually work with us to make the Cottesloe Beach coastline natural, keep it beautiful. And, we can make some negotiations and work together. I mean, that's all with communication. We've got to do that. We've got to communicate. So please, do we have any questions, suggestions from our stakeholders in the class group? Thank you. And I'll hand you over now to Connie, who will talk about another destination close to our hearts. Cheers.